Those who are in BTech and wondering what to do next, either if you are in BTech final year or second year or third year, and if you are wondering what to do next, I mean after the BTech, what next? Either you should go for job or should you go for masters. So what I'll do is I'll list out all the options that are available for you and I'll analyze them without any bias, without any biasing. I'll not do any biasing. I'll be really frank. I'll be true to my heart. I'll not do any biasing here. Okay, so just watch it. I'll just put on all the options. You choose them. You choose one of them. Now if you are in BTech, after BTech you have two ways to go. One is you can go for a job, right? Or the other is you can go for masters. If you are planning for a job, there are two types of jobs we have in the market right now. One is service oriented jobs and other is product based jobs. So service oriented jobs are generally the companies which will recruit you or in your college or this Wipro, TCS, CTS, Infosys, IBM, etc. These are all the Mindtree or something, I don't know. So they are all the companies which are service oriented jobs, and the product based jobs are the companies, these are the big league companies. These companies have their own products and they'll be working on their own these products. Therefore I call them as product based companies or big league companies, and these companies are Google, Microsoft, Amazon, like that, Cisco, Qualcomm. All these companies are product based companies, right? And if you are planning, you have these two options when you are going for a job, when you're thinking about the job. And if you are planning about masters, you have these three options. One is you can do ME or MTech in India, or you can do MS abroad. So generally MS at US. People go to US, prefer US more compared to the European countries, because European countries have different languages and US is having English, so it is easier. And other one is you can do MBA either in India or abroad, anywhere. So these are the three options you have coming to the masters. Now out of these five options, which one should you choose and which one is better? That is what I want to discuss in this video. Right. So now let's take each one and let's analyze it. So let's take about the service oriented jobs. This one. So first thing that whenever we talk about job, the first thing that comes to your mind is the salary, right? So when the salary that you might get in service oriented job is roughly 20 to 25k. So I don't know, everything has increased. So I'll tell you one thing. When before 10 years, in the year probably 2005, I remember buying a milk packet for I think 7 rupees or so, and now the same milk packet is costing I think 14 rupees or 15 rupees. I don't remember exactly, and everything has nearly doubled in the past 10 years. But then coming to the salaries of the service oriented jobs, they are still there. So earlier when I was in my BTech, they used to pay 20,000 rupees as a salary, and now also they are paying 20,000, 25,000 for a starting job. There is no much difference. Earlier the package was around 3 lakhs and now I think package is 3.25 or 3.5, and they didn't change. But then the cost of living in India has increased too high. Okay, let's come back to that one about this salary later. And the next thing that you must be thinking about is what is the type of work you will be doing. Will it be related to developing, or will it be related to anything related to computer science, or is it generic? So to answer this question, I'd like to say that if you watch these companies, if they come for recruiting in your college, they are not just going to recruit only computer science students. They are going to recruit students from ECE, and triple E, electrical and mechanical and civil. They are even going to recruit civil engineering students who doesn't have who doesn't have the same background as a computer science student coming to the computer science subjects. These are software companies for name, and they are recruiting people who don't know anything about software. Then what does it mean? What is the clue? What is the conclusion that you could get from here? So simply you can think that, or you can understand that they really don't need a computer science student. They need some graduate. That's it. Anyone is good for them. Now what they do is they will train for 3 months according to what they want, and then they will put you to job. That is why training will be very important, and training is mandatory in in these companies. If you look at these other companies like Google, there will be no training because you are already being trained for 4 months to work for such companies. Now these people will train you for 3 months, and this training will just be about learning APIs and tools. So what you will be working is not as a developer. If you are lucky, you might get into development, but even in development you will not be doing any real development. You might feel that you are developing something, but actually you will be learning APIs and using them. As long as you are working with APIs means this application programmer interface, application programming interface. So which means you will be learning those so APIs, you know them, right? I don't know how to explain this to you. So actually what is happening is you will never be using your brain. You will be trained in such a way that you will never think about algorithms, data structures, or optimizations. You will just be trained in such a way that you will use Google and take out the API, that whatever API is useful, and then put it there. Or you will be learning about the tools. Tools are like this. They are just like black boxes. Just to give you an example, see, if you are watching a TV with a remote control, you don't know how TV works inside and how the remote control works inside. And if you read this, if you are reading the manual, if you have by hearted the manual, and if you have just by hearted it, and if you are just operating the remote, that is nothing but using a tool. Even here also, they'll already have some already made tools, and these tools will be made by the product based companies, right? And they will install those tools, and you are just supposed to learn how to use them. So how to give the input and how to get the output. That's it. So that is what is going on in these companies. So work is completely not computer science related. So whatever you have learned for 4 years is not going to be useful. Operating systems, computer networks, DBMS, software engineering, maybe software engineering might be useful to some extent, but most of the subjects that you have acquired, the knowledge is completely a waste. So instead of this, you could have done some other engineering stream, and you could have learned better. Anyway, if you are not going to use it in your life, why do you want to learn it? Fine. And then the timings. So generally you are supposed to be in the office from 8 to 10, at least for 8 to 10 hours, and you will be given some ID card to log in and log out. So you are supposed to record your timings in the office in most of the companies. See, whatever I'm saying is in 90% of the companies. I'm not saying that. See, you might be an exception, so don't just argue with me. Don't send me an email saying that whatever I said is wrong. But then 90% of the companies, this is what is happening. Okay, so you are supposed to be at office, and most of the companies, they even don't allow Facebook and Google Gmail. Of course, you are going to have your mobile, and in the mobile you are going to have 3G and you can operate. But then blocking all these websites on your desktop or laptop is really insane. That is what I feel. You want to be connected to people while you work, and you want to have fun while you work, right? What is the fun in blocking everything, YouTube and all? And anyway, if you are going to be in the office for 8 to 10 hours, they expect that you work for 8 to 10 hours. That is really insane. Without taking long breaks, unless you are on the this bench. So there is a concept called bench also. Sometimes they will recruit you, and if there is no project, you are supposed to go to office, sit there, and then come back without doing any work, right? So this is what is here. And one funniest thing is the selection procedure. You should really know about it. selection procedure, it is really funny. So I don't really understand this. I What I feel is, once they interview the students, all the students, they'll have the roughly the same aggregate. They'll perform almost the same way in the interviews as well as in the written test, and their profiles will be same. But then they'll recruit one person and they'll reject the other, and they will not give you any reasons. If you go for the product based companies, you can even ask them, why they rejected you, and they'll give you all the reasons that, this has happened, you are weak in this, you are weak in that. But these people are insane, they don't give you any such reason. And I remember this. This one. Okay, let me not discuss about it. Fine. So what I mean to say is, their selection procedure is random. I feel that they will write all the names on some chits, on some paper, small pieces of paper, put them in a bottle, and then they'll take out a lottery and they'll announce the candidate. That is what I feel is the selection procedure. Right? And then firing. So when they don't have the work, they'll just simply fire you. They'll just see that, if they don't get the project, they'll fire you, and they sometimes you might have to wait. It really happened for many people. They get placed this year and they get the date of appointment next year, and you will be waiting for this appointment letter as if you are waiting for the appointment as a collector. So you will not even wait that long if you become a collector for your appointment. The excitement and the anxiety is too high. So all these are the main things that you will be doing. So will you be learning anything by the end? So let's see if you can learn anything. You will not learn anything new in computer science, or you will not learn anything useful. So only things that you might learn here in these companies is, you will learn how to settle down for a second class life. You will learn how to live your life as a mediocre life. So what I mean to say is, you will definitely learn how to compromise. You will learn living in small flats, sharing your flat with 4 or 5 people, and you will definitely learn cooking, that is for sure. And you will learn traveling in the bus. You will learn wasting time commuting to the office, getting back. You will learn wasting time at office, how to give reasons to waste time, and you will learn how to bunk the office. Other than anything useful, you will learn everything. This is the learning experience you will have in these companies, right? By the end of, if you work for these companies for 2-3 years, you will get really frustrated. Believe me, I have seen this. You will get really frustrated that maybe some people will get lot of anger that they would like to change this, and again they will read. I don't want to take that student's name. When I was in B.Tech, when I was in MTech, I joined in my master's first day, and I met with a student. I was a fresher, which means I didn't work for any company. Directly after my B.Tech, I joined the masters at IASC, and in my batch, one student, she joined after working for some company. I think the company was Infosys. After working for Infosys for 3 years, she prepared for GATE and she joined masters. And we were trying to balance the load while picking up the courses. See, in masters we don't have any compulsory thing. At least in IASC, we don't have anything like compulsory courses. Every course is optional. We are supposed to choose 4 courses out of, I think, 20 or 30 courses every semester. I mean, for the first 2 semesters, 4 and 4, and the third semester 2 subjects. 10 subjects is total, you have to choose 10 courses, and after that you have the project work in the second year. Then everyone tries to balance the load, like we take 2 or 3 hard subjects and one easy subject. But then this student whom I was talking about, let's call her with some name S. Now this student S has taken this all 4 subjects, all 4 heavy subjects, completely heavy. Then I asked her how she could manage by taking these difficult subjects. Then she told me that she said in her own words, I'm just telling you, she said that I'm really vexed off by not doing enough work, or by doing the work which doesn't involve my brain at all for the past 3 years, that now I'm craving for work. I want to work as much as possible because my brain has rusted so much that I want to make it work again. So she got so much, what can I say, vexed off, depressed by working for these companies for the 3 years, that it motivated her to change her life again. And some people, they get so much depressed that they give up everything and they start adjusting to the circumstances, and they keep their life going on, and they settle down for the second class life. But let me tell you one thing, we have only one life, I guess, isn't it? I don't believe that we are going to be born again. Now when we have only one life, one chance, I think it is always better that you go for the best. Don't settle down for the second class life, right? So it is not like, we have many options. But given that you are doing BTech, you should really aim big, and then go for the heights. You should not settle down. At least this is not the age that you should be settling down. Once you reach 35 years of age, and if you have kids and if you have a family to support, then yes, you cannot do major modifications, or you cannot take any risk like leaving the job and going for something else. But then when you are in BTech, when you are in 20s, early 20s, settling for these jobs, for especially service oriented jobs, is madness, is really madness, right? And and when I ask people why they want to go for a job, generally I interact with students, and in classroom coachings I interact with students, and they have given me really funny reasons. I'll tell you the reasons. One reason they said is really funny: I want to support my family. Support my family. This is the reason they said. So with a salary of roughly 21,000, that is, just put it there, that is what minimum you will be getting in hand. Even though your package is 25,000, it says 25,000, there will be a lot of any other things. So you will be getting 21,000 in hand. And where should you be living? In metropolitan cities like Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai. And in these cities, it will take up at least 10,000 to 15,000 to support yourself. So even if you are living to your bare minimum without spending too much, if you are saving everything, you will be left out with 10,000, and you will be able to send a maximum of 10,000 rupees to your house in the best case in 1 month. So if your family is able to survive for 20 to 25 years without your support, don't you think that they'll be able to do so for 2 more years? Or at least now the economic conditions in India are not too bad, that people are dying of hunger. If you don't send this 10,000 rupees, they are not going to die of hunger. Or even if you send this 10,000 rupees, it is not going to make any major difference in their lifestyle. Their lifestyle is going to be same. They are not going to shift to a bungalow and take a BMW and go with your 10,000 rupees, isn't it? So if you cannot do that major modification, or if you cannot help them in changing their lifestyle drastically, at least spend time from now on to go to that stage where you could at least change their lifestyle. So don't do this. Don't tell me this reason. This is really crap. I don't agree with you. Supporting family with this salary, don't do that. No need of doing this, right? They can do. It is just not worth it. It is too much, too big a sacrifice for 10,000 rupees. Okay. And the second thing is, the second reason that I come across is, I want to take a break. This is even more funny. So they say that I want to take break for 2 years and then again continue my studies. What is the funniest part in this? Can you guess it? It is not that you want to do a master's after 2 years. That is not funny. But then BTech 4 years is actually a break. You have actually taken break from academics for 4 years. Seriously, if you are not from IITs or NITs, I can tell that you have taken a break of 4 years academically, and it is a complete kind of excursion for you for 4 long years. You have already taken 4 year break, and again, why do you want to take 2 more years break? right? So this is not a valid reason. This is stupid reason. Don't give me that reason. Okay. And the third reason they will say is, if I work here for 2 years, then I'll go into Google. This is really funny again. If you work in TCS or Infosys or these service-oriented companies for 2 years, how do you think that you are going to get into Google after 2 years? This is really madness. So even if you go there in Google, they are not going to take you as developer. You might in best case you might get a job as a test team engineer. That's it. You are not going to get a job as a developer in Google because you have worked for 2 years in service based jobs. So this is again a stupid reason. Even if you go for an interview in product based job with 2 years of experience or 3 years of experience in service based jobs, they will consider this experience as number of number of years of relevant experience is 0. It is relevant experience. Even though your work experience is 2 years, they'll consider that the number of years of relevant experience as 0, because you don't have any experience really writing the real code, the developer, and what happens in those companies, right? Therefore, this is the worst thing that you could do after doing your BTech. This is the second worst thing. What is the first worst thing? Completely sitting idle at home, without doing anything. If you are completely wasting an year sitting at home, that is the first worst thing that you are doing. And the second worst thing that you could do is taking up a job in service oriented companies. And what should you really do then? You should not attend the campus interviews? No, I'm not saying that. Attend the campus interviews, take up the job, take it up, keep it as a backup, and then try for something great. This is good, but try for great. And remember that good is always enemy of great. So getting a job might sometimes make you feel so comfortable that you might give up trying for great things. Be very, very careful. Getting a job is also dangerous. At least these jobs, you'll become too comfortable and you'll give up everything else, that it is going to harm you in the long run. Then how to use this job is, yes, you can take up the job. I mean, you get the offer letter, show it to your parents. They'll be very happy. This might be the first success in your life, isn't it? So till now, maybe from your childhood, you might not have achieved anything else. I mean, anything so big that your parents want to really brag to their neighbors and relatives. Just say that, tell your parents that you got a job in Infosys, you are a software engineer now. They'll really feel happy. They'll think that you have become something, right? As it turns out to be a surprise, even though. So what I mean to say is, just take this job, keep it as backup, and make your family happy, but then try for something great. In worst case, this is going to help you just to pass your time for 1 year, not more than that. See, if you are in BTech, don't get into software service oriented jobs, first point. And if you have already got into it, or if you are going to get into it because you don't have any other option, you should definitely try to get out of it as early as possible. These are my two, this is really a serious suggestion. Don't get into it at the first place. If you are already inside it, get out of it as early as possible. Now let's discuss about product based companies and how the culture will be. Now let's see about this product based companies. So we have seen already about the service companies, right? Now let me tell you what happens with product based companies. So first thing is the salary. Salary will be every per month you might get nearly 1 lakh rupees, almost. So even for BTech students, just without any masters, even for BTech students, there will be no much difference in the salaries for BTech and MTech students in product based companies. They'll give you more or less the same. There will be per annum there might be a gap of the difference of 1 or 2 lakhs. That's it. So most of the students who started for GATE preparation by joining for my lectures, what happens is they finish this algorithm, data structures, and some core computer science subjects, and then they attend these companies and they'll get the job and they'll stop the preparation. The reason is simple: anyway they are going to get the same salary even after MTech, then why to prepare all this and then go for MTech? Yes, it is not a bad option either, because the salary is not so less. So on average we can say that you will get 1 lakh rupees per month using all the allowances. So let's say this is the salary you are going to get per month in companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon. Amazon is the paymaster. Amazon and Google are the paymasters. Microsoft also pays well. Yahoo is not paying so much. So yes, there are many companies, many product-based companies in India. You can try there. So the salary will be so much that it is really worth working for them for 1 or 2 years. Yes, definitely if you want to support your family, this salary is going to change their lifestyle. At least their lifestyle will definitely be changed, right? This is salary is good. And the second thing is the work. So who will be recruited in this company, sir? Only the computer science students from selected colleges. Mainly they'll have some, they are not going to call everyone for interview. That is the reason why you should be doing masters from IITs or at least NITs. The reason is these companies, they don't call at least people from normal colleges for interviews. If you have to get the interview call, at least you should be from a good college. So if you're not from a very good college, then it is really difficult. Normal colleges generally they'll have this pool interviews, or there are only few colleges where they go for recruiting, direct recruiting. The reason is simple. When I was talking to one of the HRs, I have plans of getting these product-based companies for interviews to my students, which means I want to select some students who might train through my online lectures and get their resumes, and then forward them to the product-based companies, get them for interviews, and then arrange something like this. That is under progress. I'll see what happens there. So when I was talking to some of these HRs of these good big companies, what they are saying is, even though they visit some normal college, the problem is they have to send their entire team for interview, let's say 3-4 people, and they have to provide their traveling allowances, as well as it has to be done on the working day. They are not going to come on weekends, they are not going to waste their weekends. So they are going to lose money on traveling allowances, as well as they are going to lose the work, the man hours. And now even after doing all this, when they go to a normal college, normal private engineering college, the problem is they are not able to get more students. They are able to get only 1 or 2 students. So just for 1 or 2 students, recruiting 1 or 2 students, putting this much effort is useless. At least if they go to IITs, they'll find 4-5 students, or sometimes even nearly 10 students they'll recruit. There are some good companies which recruit 10 students from a single college like IITs or IISc. That is why these people generally prefer good colleges where there is both MTech, B.Tech and MTech, and they can get lot of students, and at least those colleges they'll prefer. So, and moreover, when they visit these colleges, they will be asking only for computer science students especially. That is the main difference. If you watch these service-based companies, they are going to call everyone for interview, but then these companies are very specific about computer science students only. So what does it mean? It means that you are supposed to know everything from computer science. Their interview will be completely on the core computer science syllabus. So that is that syllabus is same as GATE syllabus, and if you prepare for GATE, it is actually preparing for these interviews also, right? Along with this, even see, whatever you prepare in GATE is good enough. You are going to learn about algorithms in detail, data structures, and C programming in detail, especially the functions, structures, pointers and arrays. All these topics are very important, and these topics are mainly asked in any product-based company interviews. You have to be proficient in one programming language. You need not know all programming languages. If you are good with C programming language, it is enough. And we have C in our GATE syllabus, and we have subjects like DBMS, C and OS. These are the core computer science subject: compiler design, computer architecture. If you are good with all these subjects, in fact, if you prepare well for GATE, it is actually preparing for even the product based companies. Therefore, it doesn't require any special product, this preparation or attention. It is very easy to crack, at least as a B.Tech student. They don't have a lot of expectations from you. Even if you are able to have that thorough grip on the basics which we teach in GATE, that is enough to get placed in these companies. Okay, and I have many students who got placed in these big companies only because of the GATE training, nothing else. Okay, fine. And that is about the recruitments, and the selection procedure is very transparent. And the selection procedure, they'll tell you why they have selected you, or they'll tell you why you are rejected. If there are any flaws in your preparation, they'll point it out, and again you can apply after 6 months by correcting those flaws, and again you can get the job. And many times, people who apply for the second time and third time for the same company, they get selected because it shows their relentlessness, what can I say, it shows their determination in getting the job, and generally they get picked up. But then in this time you are supposed to prepare at least some bit. Okay, and the next one is, let's talk about the culture. So there is nothing like timings. You need not go to the office at 9 a.m. and then be there at 6 till 6 p.m. You can time appropriately. Even I remember these days when I was in Cisco, I sometimes used to go to office at 4 a.m. Think about it, 4 a.m. just to beat the traffic. And I used to go to 4 a.m. if I have to go to office, right? And then I used to return back by 10 a.m. So 4 a.m. I used to go and then do some work, and by 10 a.m. when my tech lead comes, I discuss with him, and I just post the work there, post the code, and I'll come back by 10 a.m. 10 a.m. itself, not even p.m. So it works. So you can go at any time, you can come back at any time. Only thing is you are supposed to work. And one other great thing is you need not go to office at all. So only when you have some work to discuss with someone, you need to go to office. Otherwise you can be anywhere in the campus, or you can even work from home. But people generally prefer going to office because it gives you an environment. So you'll be discussing with your colleagues, and there are a lot of fun activities going on in the office also. So it will not be like a formal office thing. It will just be like informal meeting, and you have a lot of friends there. You'll enjoy it. So, but anyway, what I'm saying is, you'll have this wonderful work from home option, and you need not actually go to office every day. You can be anywhere as long as you work. That is enough. Okay, so now that is about the culture. So work from home, you just send an email with this subject as work from home. That is enough, and you need not go to office on that day. Really, it is very, very flexible. And next thing is, what is that you are going to learn by working here is, you learn a lot. You learn a lot about how to apply algorithms, how to use your brain in design. See, most of the work will be about designing the algorithms, and then a bit of coding to implement it. Most of it will be solving the problems in product-based companies. Every problem will be new, completely new, that you might have to design a new solution. It is not like you can copy paste from Google. That is not the way. Therefore, there will be lot of activity for your brain, and it is an opportunity to grow, right? And then you can even using this 2 years experience or 3 years experience, whatever you have, you can apply for masters either in India or abroad, and later, even after masters, you will have a better job with better salaries, showing this as the experience. So the experience certificate which you get from these companies is really, really valuable, and you'll even learn a lot of other things, like how to write this code from scratch if you are working for a startup, or you can even know how the various modules are working. For learning, there is a lot of scope in this. Therefore, if you have to take up a job, and if you are not interested in going for masters, I don't know why. Okay, so if you definitely have to take a job, then go for product based company. Don't go for services. That is my suggestion. Product based companies are the best. Then how to prepare for it? Fortunately, the preparation is just the GATE preparation. If you can prepare well for GATE, by the end of third year, if you have finished your preparation for GATE, then in the entire 4 years, in the final year, you completely apply for these product based companies. Only thing is, sometimes if you are lucky, they will call you for the interview, and most of the times they expect the people to be from the good colleges. So in that case, we don't have any other options. You have to write GATE, get into IITs, and get that job, your dream job. But most of the cases, if you have good academics, and if you have done good projects, then there is a chance that you might get a interview call. In case if you get it, you are lucky. Okay. And let me tell you, if your GATE preparation is over by the time you go for the interview, you will definitely get the job. At least if you have watched all my videos, at least if the GATE coaching that you are taking is from my videos, then at least I can assure you, you will be able to crack it. So if you are an average student, if you understood whatever I teach, you will definitely be able to crack it. Okay. Now let's compare what happens with the masters. Well, coming to masters, we have three options here. So I'll just list all the options and let's compare all of them from different various perspectives. Okay. So first thing is, let's say one option you have if you are planning for masters is MTech in India, and the second option is you might go for MS. Generally people go to US, United States, for MS from India. That is the most followed trend, right? Let me give some gap here. And then the other option is MBA, either in India or abroad. So MTech or ME both are same. There's a minor difference. In this sense, ME is more of research oriented, and MTech is more industry oriented. So as of now, there is no this line which is dividing these two is actually diminishing. The normal the trend has been this way. ME or BE are supposed to be bit research oriented, and MTech and B.Tech are supposed to be industry oriented, but the line which is differentiating them has been diminishing a lot in the recent past. So you can say both are not having much difference, so I'm just putting them in the same category. Anyway, both are being offered by various colleges in India. ME is offered only by IISc, and IITs are offering MTech. Okay, and then let's compare them, all these three, from various perspectives. So let's see what is the exam we are supposed to have. The entrance exam which we are supposed to take in order to crack this. In order to do ME and MTech, we have various exams, and the most popular exam is GATE. GATE in India. And apart from GATE, we even have local state level exams and university level exams. Some universities are conducting their own entrance exams and taking the students, and some exams are there which are conducted in the state level, and all these exams generally have the same syllabus, which will be focusing on the core subjects of your stream. For example, if you take computer science, the syllabus will contain just like operating systems, DBMS, and all this. If you take ECE, there will be EMT, networks, and then digital, all this, just like your core computers and core subjects. Okay, so GATE is the exam, and the preparation you need not prepare going out of the way. If you are already doing your B.Tech, your preparation is half done, which means you are at least familiar with the basics, isn't it? Even after doing B.Tech for 4 years, if you are not familiar with the basics, I don't think that it is worth doing B.Tech at all. So I'm saying that even if you are an average student and doing your B.Tech from normal private colleges, still you are at least 30 to 50% prepared in order to take this exam. It is not that you have to go out of your way to prepare for it. And coming to MS, the exam you should be taking is GRE and TOEFL. And these two exams are actually aptitude, mathematics, and English. you are supposed to prepare for aptitude, mathematics and English, which means you have to go out of your way and then prepare for them and get this course. Okay, and for this MBA you are supposed to write CAT. Now let's see how easy it is in order to prepare and then apply for these exams. So coming to CAT, so GATE, I'm saying that you are already prepared for 30 to 50% since it is your own BTech subjects. So you have to put only 70% of the remaining effort. So which means you are already 30% to 50% prepared. And coming to this GRE and TOEFL, exams are easy. Let me tell you, exams are easy. That is not an issue. But it is a headache just to do the other procedures. You first have to apply the passport. Assuming that you already have the passport, then you have to apply for visa and then items. It is hell a lot of process, and it will take sometimes from somewhere from 6 months to 1 year, which means you should completely dedicate 1 year, and in this 1 year you'll be roaming around and getting all the documents and getting the bank approvals, bank loans. It is just like wasting a lot of your time without doing anything productive. So that is what is here. And anyway, if you have already decided that you are not doing anything better in your college, and at least you want to do that, you can do that. And coming to CAT, it is not very easy if you don't have a good background in English or in aptitude. It might get tough. So I don't say that it is easy. It is not that easy. Okay. And now, what are the other benefits if you prepare for these exams other than getting into masters? Do you have any other benefits? So one benefit I could say is, in your GATE, if you are preparing, it is not just that you are preparing for GATE. If you are preparing for the exam, you are actually learning your core subjects in detail, at depth. So other options include, other benefits include, you'll be easily be able to crack product based company interviews, as well as there are some PSUs, public sector, which you can easily get into. And moreover, if you are preparing for GATE, your B.Tech percentage is going to improve drastically. Let me tell you, if you can prepare for your GATE exam right from your second year, I can tell you that you are going to get 90% marks in every exam from second year, third year, final year. Your final the percentage, B.Tech percentage, is not going to be anything less than 90%. Just trust me on that. If you prepare for GATE, you are actually doing the best thing, at least for B.Tech. So your B.Tech percentage is going to be 90% if you prepare from second year itself. And by the end of the year, by your B.Tech, what happens is you might get very good job, like you might get placed in Microsoft or Google or Amazon, something like this, and you might completely give away this option of doing masters completely. You might not go for masters also, so you will get a very good job in product based companies. And for computer science students, these companies are there, and for non-CS students, they also have a lot of options, like you can go for PSUs, and the non-computer science students like ECE, EEE and mechanical, they also have IES exam. IES syllabus is 70% or 80% the same as GATE syllabus. Therefore, you can even get a job by the end of your B.Tech. So these are the added benefits if you prepare for GATE exam. And coming to MS, I don't see anything here. You might learn some English, that there is a book called Barron's. It is a very big book, and you are supposed to by heart it. And I don't know how you will be able to do that, but you are supposed to do that. What I feel is, human brains are configured, especially to think and analyze things, or to solve the problems, not to memorize. So we are not built to remember, unless you have that photographic memory. Generally girls have more memory compared to boys. That is why these girls will get more marks compared to boys in these exam GRE. But in GATE, generally boys will get more marks. See, again no offense, I'm not against anything. This is what research has revealed, that girls' brains have developed in such a way that they can remember everything for a long time. For example, I don't know whether you know this or not. They will remember each and every date in the sense the day. So they'll remember what day you met, First you met with your girlfriend, and they will even remember what shirt you were wearing on that day, and they will even remember what you said. It is all surprising, right? They will remember everything. Their brains are configured in such a way that they remember everything. But boys brains, they are configured in such a way that they could think logically and they could think well. So what is the implication? Even if you forget the dates, and if you forget to wish on their birthday, you can come up with many reasons and many explanations, especially many lies. And boys are very good at lying, and girls are very good at remembering, right? And that is why it is a perfect match. You will forget and you will lie, and they will not be able to detect. Right? Okay, just kidding, I'm just kidding. Sorry for getting out of the topic. Okay, and see, girls, no offense, I'm not against girls. Okay, so please forgive me for the previous statement. All these are actually according to the research. I didn't make up anything on that. Okay, next thing is, coming to this MS, I don't see any benefit other than remembering all these English words. See, I think roughly if you have 200 words in English, you could communicate happily, easily. But then having more words, adding more words to your vocabulary, I think is not needed. Try to keep it as simple as possible. Your words should be as simple as possible, right? Just to communicate. Now what I mean to say is, MS is not going to, preparing for GRE is not going to be useful anywhere except that service oriented jobs. Like people will, you might get these companies for your campus interviews, like Wipro, TCS, CTS. They might recruit you because you are good with English, and maybe you could dazzle them with some few good English words, right? And your vocabulary, if possible add some accent to it, they'll definitely take you, because I don't know why they need engineers in their companies. Okay, and now coming to this MBA, again here you have this aptitude, which is bit tougher. So definitely you'll improve your analyzing skills. So there is some good thing about this. Your analytical skills will improve, especially the way you analyze the things, the way you process data, that everything will improve. And so this is to some extent better. So if you look at the advantages or benefits, GATE preparation is having a lot of benefits. See, I'm not adding anything here. I'm not biased, or I'm not trying to push you towards GATE. Whatever I'm putting it there is what I'll explain if I have a brother or a sister. I'm not trying to sell anything here. These are facts. Whatever I'm putting here are straight from my heart, not even from my brain. I'm not going to exaggerate anything here. Even if I have a brother or sister, I'll say the same, I'll give them the same analysis, and I'll leave the decision to them. Okay, so don't think that since I'm teaching for GATE, I'll be pushing everyone towards that. No, I'm not biased that way. I just want to put the facts over there. And now what kind of jobs you'll get after you finish graduate this post graduation. If you finish your MTech or MTech or ME in India, especially from IITs, NITs and IISc, if you are anywhere from these colleges, as of now, at least IISc and IITs, they have starting packages around 15 lakh to 20 lakhs per annum. In worst case, you will end up with at least 12 lakhs. That is the worst case scenario. But as of now, the packages have increased so much, the salary has increased so much, that they are offering 15 to 20 lakhs for anyone without experience. See, keep this in mind. Whatever figure I have written here is for anyone. You might have just completed your B.Tech, and after that you might not have any work experience, and then you might have joined the MTech, and then you might have got the job, which means you are a fresher. As a fresher, you are drawing this salary, and in 2-3 years the salaries can easily be doubled. In 3 years probably these figures can easily get doubled. 40 lakhs is not a big thing if you know coding, bit coding and others. And this is for computer science students. And for ECE and mechanical students, they too have the good jobs. For example, Intel was paying 20 lakhs for an electrical student. For an ECE student, Intel was paying for this microprocessor design, these microelectronics students, they have been recruited for 20 lakhs. And even your PSUs, the PSU jobs, they are also having pretty good packages. Now I think roughly they are having 14 lakhs or something. 14 lakhs is the package for this PSUs and other public sector jobs. And since they are government jobs, you are going to have a lot of extra benefits. See, in private you might get in cash, but in government jobs you will get a lot of benefits other than cash. So you might not get the cash directly in hand, but in place of that you will get a house, you will get car, all this. So this is pretty good. And all this, and remember this, 15 to 20 lakhs you are going to draw in India. And with my experience I'll tell you, if you have anything around 10 lakhs in India, that is a good salary, and you can live comfortably. At least you can live more than what an above average person, above middle class people are able to afford. You will have a good luxurious life in India. Okay. So coming to MS, the jobs, yes, there also, after this, what kind of jobs you will be getting is, they are called as contracting and consulting jobs. So the fact is, you will be getting dollars, salary will be good, but the job is consulting jobs. There are no permanent jobs for Indians, especially not just for Indians, for anyone who has gone there on student visa, right? They don't have permanent jobs. So US government is not allowing the companies to recruit anyone without their citizenship. So they have to pay extra taxes and all to recruit you. So there are very few permanent jobs and developer jobs, and whatever other jobs are, they are just consulting jobs. And the problem with these jobs is, you will be having the job for 3 months, and after the project is over, you are supposed to leave the company and find some other job, and therefore you will be on a tour in the entire US. So you will be in one city now, and in after 3 or 6 months you will have to go to other city. That is why what my friends do is, they don't buy any furniture wherever they are. They'll just take a furnished apartment. They'll not buy anything in it. Maybe they'll buy a car, or they'll buy a car in a shared manner, and then once the project is over, they have to move away. So it is like you will be migrating from one place to other, and you have to do this continuously as long as you are going to be there in US. Only people who have settled earlier, maybe in 2000s or even 1900s, they got good jobs and they got settled down there. Others have to struggle now with consulting jobs, and I am not exaggerating the situation. The situation is even worse. I am not even going there. So what the problem is this: consulting jobs is all about working with a tool. So you will be learning a tool, and then you will get into that job. You will be getting good salaries, you will be getting good pay, but you will not be enjoying the work, or you will not be making any difference to the world. If you are not going to do that job, someone else will take your place. And moreover, the problem is, nowadays, if you are having a job, and if someone is willing to do a work at a lower wages, they are going to fire you and recruit him. So, and moreover, with many people going to US and a lot of competition for these jobs, there is nothing called as job guarantee there. See, I'm again not exaggerating. These are exactly the things which are happening, and most of my friends are in US, and I'm in regular touch with them, so they tell me the facts. These are really the things which you should know before going there. And salary will be, you can draw the same amount of salary in 20 lakhs, 20 to 24 lakhs. But then don't worry, this is what I'm giving you in Indian rupees. But don't think that these two are equal. In India, cost of living is very less, but here cost of living is very high. So if you are married and if you have to manage your family with these numbers, you are not going to save anything. If you are single, probably you might be able to save some money by sharing your apartment with other colleagues. But then if you are married, it is not totally worth this. So don't please compare these salaries with these salaries. Even though these numbers are big, you are at US, you will not be able to send much to home, or you will not be able to make a lot of savings. Okay. And then coming to the jobs in MBA, you will generally be working in banking sector, or in the sales, or in insurance, or in mutual funds. So there are various fields where you have MBA. So how can I say this? So if you compare the jobs which you will be getting after MBA and the jobs which you will be getting after MTech or MS, In this, mostly you will be working with machines. In MTech, ME or MS, you will be working with machines. And working with machines is very easy because they are deterministic. You will be giving them some command and they will follow your orders and give you the output in a deterministic way. But here you have to interact with people. If you are in sales or banking, you might have to interact with people, and if you are a manager, you will have to make your team work. So here lot of elements like human elements are present. And as there is a saying by once this Newton said that we cannot measure the I don't remember the exact words. I think he said something like this: we cannot measure the there is no way we can measure the craziness of human beings or madness of people, something like this. So when you are working with human beings, it is not just your talent or your capability or your time which is going to show the results. There are lots of uncertain things involved, and it is really stressful. So people, whoever is willing to go, do an MBA and get that highly paid jobs. So see, in India, I'm talking about again in India, the jobs, the salaries for this will be around the same, 20 to 30 probably. So let me not exaggerate it, you can think of it in 20 max. So in India, as a fresher, and 20 is too much that I have kept there. And if you are working for any foreign bank, yes, there might be a big difference if you are from IIMs or some other colleges. So let me tell you how to decide whether you should go for this or not. I think you know how software engineers work or how the other government jobs will be, but you really don't have an idea about how these people will work and how stressful their jobs will be. So if you have any cousins or anyone whom you know who has passed out from these IIMs and who is working for these companies, so I request you to spend one day with them and watch them closely the way they work. You will completely understand how stressful it is and how much they get worn out by the end of the day. So you please go and watch them once, then you can take the decision. See, whatever career you are going to choose, always do that with just see how the life is going to be. It is not just about money. You should take care of, you should look into various aspects. One aspect is how much energy is your job taking out of you, and how much time is it taking out of you, and how much are you able to learn. There are various factors. So I suggest that you spend some time with these people, then you understand clearly what they are doing. Then if you are interested, you can go for that. And as packages in India will be roughly around 20 lakhs if you are from IIMs. If you are from IIMs, then you have good package, right? And the problem with this IIMs is they are not going to take any fresher. If you are just completed your B.Tech, even if your CAT score is very high, generally they'll take only people with experience. At least 2 years of experience is required in order to get into IIMs now. You can just Google out and find out the requirements. So without work experience, it is very difficult to get an interview call, and it is very difficult to convert it. So after B.Tech, you have to spend 2 years working for some company like services. But anyway, if you get a job in product based company, you will not go for, I think, MBA. You will have to spend nearly 2 years in some stupid job and then prepare for this CAT and then do your MBA, and after that 2 years you are going to get it. So after B.Tech 4 years, you are going to take one more 4 years in order to get this job, but here you can directly get it. So you have to even take the 2 years into consideration. You cannot just assume that you are getting a good salary compared to ME or MTech, but then the salaries you are going to get it after 2 years. But here as a fresher you will get it, and once you get into the job in 2 years, your salary is going to be doubled, definitely 2-3 years, right? Therefore, again, in jobs, if you compare, the best thing to do is again the GATE and ME and MTech, right? And next one is, what about the competition? So whom should you compete with in order to crack these exams? If you are looking at CAT, if you are from computer science, you will be competing only with the computer science engineers in India. only from India people will be writing, and the gate is stream wise divided. Computer science students will have a separate paper, EC will have separate paper, mechanical will have separate paper. Therefore it is stream wise separated, so you are not going to have everyone writing the same test, same paper. So competition here is less compared. Only the computer science students will be writing the gate CS, only EC students will be writing gate EC, only the triple E students of B.Tech will be writing this. So competition is less comparatively. And coming to MS, so competition is not just from India. Anyone who has a degree, a graduation degree in India is going to apply along with you, as well as anyone from China, Japan, Singapore. So mainly your competitors will be everyone from Asia. So when you have these many people applying, competition is very, considering the number of applicants. So people, these universities in US, they will be getting lakhs of resumes every year, and they have to filter and then select the people. It is not very easy. Competition is very high. Here the competition is limited. And what about this CAT? Any graduate student in India, BSc, MSc, BCom or BA, anyone can write CAT. As such, there are very less limitations. So anyone can write CAT exam. Therefore competition is bit high compared to this. So competition is very less for GATE overall. That is what I want to say. It is very less compared to all these options. And then what about the cost of it? So the cost is, for ME and MTech, if you are getting into a government college, fees will be nominal. For example, for one semester you might have to pay, I don't remember it, I think 4,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees per semester. Therefore you will be able to finish your 2 years of MTech by just paying a fee of probably 20 to 30,000, not more than that. So that is actually least. And moreover, you will be getting a stipend of nearly 12,000 rupees every month. This is very important to note. 12,000 rupees stipend every month is as good as having a job. So let's say this, even if you get a job in service oriented companies, let us say they are paying you 21,000. If you are living in a metropolitan city, after all your expenses, what you will be left out will be nearly 5,000 to 10,000 rupees, right? But then here you will be provided the hostel room in the same building, same campus, as well as you will be having mess facility. Therefore even after all your expenses being paid, including your shopping expenses also, if you want to include them, you will be having at least 5,000 rupees savings per month. So the savings are same. If you are going to say that I want to support my family by taking up a service oriented job for 20,000, you can even do that with this 12,000 of stipend in by doing MTech. So it is very important to note this. So what I can say is the cost involved is zero, and moreover you are getting some income here. It is not just the expenditure, you are getting an income, right? And coming to MS, the cost as of now, right now, today's, so it is 2015, and the cost is like this. So you have to spend at least 25 lakhs to 30 lakhs on average. Sometimes it might even go higher, but 25 lakhs to 30 lakhs, if you are lucky, it will come down to 20, nothing less than that. On average 25 to 30 lakhs you are supposed to spend. And moreover, what people are trying to do is, see, if you get some funding, maybe if you are lucky you will get some funding, and you will get a funding of 10 lakhs. Therefore you might have to still pay 20 lakh rupees. So what many people do is, along with this MS, while they do MS, they will be working on part-time jobs. They will be working on in some restaurants or petrol bunks, and they will be doing some cheap jobs like car washing and all this. So what is the disadvantage of this is, you are not actually completely utilizing your time on your education. This is the only chance, or the last chance in your life where you have the time to completely spend spend learning. So when you are combining this earning and learning together, it is going to be a mess up. Already you are completely there, in a completely new different country. It is very difficult to get adjusted and then focus on on your education. Along with that, if you have to do even part-time job, it is not, you will not be learning much. I'll tell you one thing, even though it is MS, you will not be mastering anything. Maybe you will master these part-time jobs. So it is not really worth spending this much money. So the cost involved here is 25 lakhs. And what about MBA? The same thing. In India, you have to go for at least 25 lakhs to finish, and I think in ISB it is even 40 lakhs or something like this. Yes, banks will give you loan, you need not pay them from the pocket, but then don't say that it is free. It is not free. Bank will give you the loan, and then you are supposed to pay it back. So therefore, what I can tell you is, if you can choose the option of MA or MTech, financially you will be 2 years ahead. How is it possible? Just see this. Let's say you have, after your MTech, you have started your job. Then immediately whatever you get the salary, that you don't owe anyone, or it is for you. You need not pay anyone. But if you go for MBA or let's say MS, then for the first 2 years, these 2 years you are supposed to, whatever you get the salary, you are supposed to pay it back to the bank, along with the loan. You can clear the loan in any number of years, but then I'm just squeezing it in. So 2 years of your efforts will just go into paying back the amount that you have taken. Therefore you are 2 years ahead in MTech compared to all the MBA or MS. And let's talk about the quality. What is the quality of education that you will be having here? So if you go for GATE, and if you crack it, and if you can get into IISc or IITs or NITs or even IIT Hyderabad is good, not all IITs, IIT Hyderabad. Now these colleges are well known for their quality. So quality of education is guaranteed, and here you will be very, very focused, in the sense you will be staying with all your friends in the same campus, and you all will be learning together without getting deviated into some other work. Like you need not cook your food, you have the mess there, and you have the laundry facilities available. Therefore you will not be wasting a lot of time. You will not do any part-time job. You need not do any part-time job in India. So your waste of time will be minimum, and the quality of education is good, and you can grasp everything that is being taught or that you are learning. But here when you look at this MS, here quality of education is good. I mean, the colleges are providing you good education, but the problem is this. If you have to do many other things, like you have to cook, you have to do your own laundry, and then everything, every personal work you have to do it. There will be no help, domestic help available there, and moreover you are supposed to do a part-time job. Everyone does this part-time job. Unless you are very rich, people generally do a part-time job to support themselves, for pocket money or for anything. They generally do a part-time job. Therefore roughly every day you might spend nearly 5 to 6 hours working somewhere. And given the daytime, if you are spending this much amount of time in working, what is the fun in going there for learning? So even though it is MS, you will not be able to master anything by the end. So it is simply a waste, I can tell you. You will not be learning anything. And coming to MBA, if you join a very good college like IIMs or ISB, you will learn. The quality of education is good, but then my question is, why do you want to learn them? What is the main reason you are going for MBA? I want to ask you one question, simple. You are done with your B.Tech for 4 years. Now why do you want to do your MBA? Answer me that. If you say that you want to become, you want a highly paid job. We have jobs in computer science in product based companies, or you have even jobs in your core engineering subjects like EC, EEE and all. Yes, to some extent the pay that is being given to an EC student or a EEE student in their core companies is less compared to a computer science graduate, but then that is not a bad option at all. Yes, if you are from EEE or ECE, I can agree with you to some extent that yes, you can go for a highly paid job for MBA, but then for a computer science student, it is complete no, because we already have good jobs in our own area, right? And second thing is, you might say that, see, reason one is, you might say that the salary is high, therefore I want to go for it, but then it doesn't make too much difference. You need not invest that much time into and money into this to get that salary. So you can even get it, you can even get a comparatively good salary by other options like MTech. Second option is, you might say that I want to become an entrepreneur and I want to have a startup of my own, so I want to do MBA. But let me tell you, starting a company doesn't need an MBA or in fact any other degree. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to have the idea and you have to have that passion to pursue it. So it is not the degree that matters. And in the recent times, I have not seen any MBA graduate starting up a great company. Very few, maybe you can see very few people doing that. But most of the people are from IITs or other colleges who did their B.Tech or MTech from IITs. They are doing great job by starting up their own companies. So don't think that you need a MBA to become an entrepreneur, right? And even if you want to learn something, you can even read whatever is being taught there. There are very good books, there are very good authors like Jim Collins is there, and then Crisenton is there. Clayton Crisenton is the Innovator's Dilemma author. You can read that book, fantastic book. If you are interested in learning about business or MBA things, you can read about them. They teach you more than what you can learn in this, and it will even be fun learning from them. So my suggestion is, if your last name is not Ambani or Tata, if you don't have a very big business which is created by your parents, and if you have to look at it, then go for it. If you don't have anything like that, then don't go for MBA. It is simply a waste of time. We have better options to do. Got it? So I really don't suggest that you go for MBA. And now coming to this MS, ME or MTech, now which one to choose? So it depends on this. See, whenever you try to choose a college, always look at the ranking of the concerned department. If you are going to join in computer science, see where does the department stand in the rankings in the world. So if you can find top 50 departments in computer science, if you are joining in computer science, or EC if you are joining in EC department, find out the top 50 departments in the world and see how to get into them. And easiest way to get into them is through gates are open, and the other way is to get using GRE. So but then in GATE the competition is very less. See, most of the IITs are in top 50 and IISc is at 13th place. Therefore, if you can get into these colleges, you are going to be in the top 50 colleges in the world, not just in India. So you plan it accordingly and try to get it into top 50 colleges somehow. I am not saying that GATE is the only option. Both MS or MTech, see that you get into top 50. Okay, if you can get into top 50, go for it, whatever. And if you, let us say you can get into Stanford, go for it. I'm not stopping you. MIT, go for it. It is very good if you can get there. But then the problem is, you are going to have a lot of competition for this top 10 or top 50 universities in the world, especially from countries like China, Japan, Singapore. Even if you are very good at something, there will be a 15 years old kid who can beat you in that somewhere in this Malaysia or Indonesia. Somewhere you can find these kids. So competition is really tough to get into these colleges, and when you have the gates open here, just give it a try. So what I mean to say is, what is the order or the priority that you should have is, one, first priority is prepare for GATE. Whichever year you are in, either you are in final year or third year or second year, start off as early as possible, as soon as possible. Start your preparation. Start preparing for GATE. First thing, okay? And why is it useful? Because it has all these benefits, right? And if you can crack GATE and get into good colleges like IISc or IITs, that will be your topmost priority. In case if you are not able to crack GATE, then the second option should be, by that time you should be ready with a product-based company job. So product-based company job is like Google, Microsoft, all this. But then some people, this is actually confusing whether to go for the product-based job or should we wait to go for GATE. If you have both of them at hand, it actually varies from person to person and priorities. According to your priorities, you can choose them. Yes, you can take up the job as the first priority if you are getting a good job. Let's say if your package is anywhere around 10 to 12 lakhs just after doing B.Tech, then you can even go for the job and then work there for 2 years and again think about masters. But the problem that there is small problem there. Once you start earning, it is very difficult that you again come back to learning. So once you give that break, it is very difficult to again get back. So I suggest that you finish it at one go, B.Tech, MTech, and then job. That way it is. I always suggest that you do that. Okay. So it is up to you again. So I suggest that first priority should be given for GATE to crack MTech, and using that preparation you will be able to get somewhere some good company. Even there are lots of companies like Oracle is there, and then Adobe is there. So you can try all these companies. Cisco is there. So if you get any one of them, then you can take it. Don't go for service based jobs. This should be a second priority. And third priority is, if you are not able to get any good job in India, product based job, or if you are not able to crack GATE, then get ready with your GRE. Therefore, when you are preparing for GATE, it is always better that you start your preparation in second year or third year, because you will have all these options ready. One thing is, your GATE preparation will be over. Simultaneously, you can do your GRE preparation also, and you can be ready with the admits from universities. So you can choose which one to go for. Okay. Now, based on which one is better, so depending on the ranking of the universities, you can think about whether to go for MTech or for GRE, so MS. That is also up to you. Again, it varies from person to person. And then, if you are not able to crack GATE, and if you don't have any product-based company job at hand, and if you didn't even prepare for GRE, or if you feel that it is going to take one more year, even if you start now, then the next best option will be going for service based company jobs. So when you are going for service based companies, I assume that you already have a job at hand through your campus interviews. I think almost every college is now having campus interviews, and everyone is going to get at least one job in service based companies. That is what I feel. So if you can get it, that should be your backup plan. So if GATE, you fail in GATE, GRE and product based companies, then the backup plan is service based job. So take this, and again you prepare for GATE. Right, on weekends you will get time. That time is good enough to prepare GATE. Even if you are working from morning 9 to 6, in the evenings you can pull out 1 hour, and on the weekends you can pull out nearly 10 hours. Therefore, you can definitely prepare for GATE even after joining the service based companies. But believe me, service based companies is going to get you so much motivated that you will definitely do well in GATE. The reason is, to do anything there should be passion, and passion is a combination of love and anger. You have to love something that you want to get it, and you have to hate something that you want to change it. That is a combination. And what will this service based company will give you is that anger. So whenever you wake up and if you have to go to the office, you'll hate doing that. Therefore that anger is going to be created, and whenever you look at your manager, generally you get anger. That is also going to keep you motivated, and after coming home you'll completely get exhausted, and again you'll be having that fire in the belly. Therefore that way service based companies will definitely help you in getting motivated to leave the service based companies. Okay, so it is a beautiful thing actually. So, and if you don't have any of these options, then the final option is drop the year and prepare for 1 year, and don't feel that you are wasting an year. It is actually an investment. Wise investment you are making. You are investing 1 year into learning for a better future. See, whatever your age is, dropping an year is not going to make any difference in the long run. We are going to live for 100 years. You please watch my other video about what is the right age to settle down. In that video I clearly discussed how many years we are going to live, and therefore you need not worry about dropping 1 year. That is actually a best thing you are doing. If you don't have all this, stop worrying. Don't join these BPOs, okay, and don't get depressed. Everything can be changed, and if you have 1 more year, trust me, you can learn everything from basics. I'll teach you. You can learn everything from basics and then get into IITs again. So 1 year is good enough. So drop it and again you prepare for this. So overall my analysis is this: MBA, no, clearly no. And if you want to go for jobs, go for product based companies. If you want to go for masters, go for MTech, and second option is go for MS, and MBA clearly no. If you don't have any options as of now, and if you want to start again from the basics, drop 1 year and then do it again. Okay, fine.